Hello there, and welcome to this class, this mathematics class, presented to you by O3 Schools JAMB app. Well, in this class, we shall be looking at the angles of elevation and depression. Now, this is actually a very easy topic. Before going into it, I'd like to remind you again why you need to get your O3 Schools JAMB app. Your O3 Schools JAMB app is actually going to be a very good learning aid to you as you prepare to take your JAMB. It has various, as in so many different features, all designed to ensure that students using it gets the best possible score that they can. As for these features include one, which is my personal favorite, the question search feature, which actually lets you search for questions using a tag, any tag you prefer. For example, now, if I simply go to mathematics in my O3 Schools JAMB app, I can just go there and search for elevation. So any question which JAMB sets, which has elevation in mathematics, is going to come out. And as such, I'm able to actually start solving questions. So I can also search for elevation and depression, and see questions under that topic will come out. So the search category doesn't just go by keyword, Also can also search by topic name. If you simply type in the name of the topic, it will give you questions under that topic. That's the wonderful feature, one you will not find anywhere else. Also, it has the normal past questions, which all students require, but it also has the mock exam mode, which is basically telling you that in this case or in this mode, it will be as though you are writing your actual JAMB. The same scenario, everything. The format, the appearance is identical to what you'll be seeing on the day of your JAMB. So it is easy for you to learn and be used to this computer-based test, particularly the JAMB format using your O3 Schools JAMB app. And more so, your O3 Schools JAMB app can be edited to suit your needs. You could choose your subjects, increase or reduce the number of subjects, increase or reduce the time, and also you could even decide that within a particular subject, I want to be asked from only so and so topics because these are the ones I have read and I'm ready for now. The app is very easy to use and very easy to manipulate. So all these features and more are available to you on the payment of the activation fee, which is 2,500 naira only. Once you pay its activation fee, your app becomes totally unlocked. If you get the app and install it initially, there are some features which you realize you are limited from using. You are not allowed to use, or there's a limitation. But once you pay your activation fee, your app is totally unlocked and you can use every single feature which the app has to offer. So get your app, activate using the steps you can see within the app, and I'll show you. You will come back to give testimony. So let's go on with this topic, shall we? Now, what does it mean to elevate? Well, simple English, elevation has to do with raising upwards, right? Oh, yes. And in this case, depression here doesn't refer to the psychological state. Depression here has to do with the reverse, looking downwards. That means if I have a person standing here, if I'm standing here right now, my eye level is facing forward. I have no direction upwards or downwards yet. Now, to elevate means, let's just draw this coordinate perfectly. To elevate means I'm turning my eyes upwards to look at something high above me. This angle I just turned upwards is known as the angle of elevation. But if I was trying to look at something downwards, which means I would again start from this purely horizontal point of view and begin to go downwards. And this angle which I have turned is now known as the angle of depression. See, funny enough, these are just the two key things you must know in this topic. When they say elevation, you are turning from a horizontal point of view and you start going upwards. While when they say angle of depression, from this same horizontal point of view, you are now going downwards. Now, questions in this topic usually come out in in the form of word problems. The questions are usually in story forms. So it will be up to you to read the question and analyze properly. And from your analysis, draw a diagram to represent it. Please note that without a diagram, you will not be able to solve any question in this topic. So you must draw your diagram. If your diagram is wrong, then automatically your solving tool would be wrong. So we need correct diagrams to get correct answers. Because for example, some questions will tell you a man is looking at a tree, and the diagram would be this. The man looked up at the tree with an angle, and voila, this will be the tree, and this is where the man is. But in some cases, they may not give you the height of the man, such that the ground would be down here, and the man will also have his own height. And so the tree will no longer be from here to here, but instead from here all the way down. So you see, these are the different key things, the logic you have to keep in mind. In some cases, you forget and just assume this man was sort of laying on the ground and you stop here. Why in some that I give the height of the man? If you mistake any of these or draw the wrong thing, well then you are definitely not going to get the right answer. So analysis of what the question says, analysis of the statement is very, very vital. Understand the statement properly, you will be able to draw the right diagram. And once you get your diagram, you can solve. Now, in your diagrams, most of the time, 90% of the time, they form triangles. At times, the triangles are simple, at times, they are a bit more complicated. But the key thing is, once you get your shape, what we use mostly are Pythagoras theory, which you should know already. Pythagoras theory is that if you have a right angle triangle, the square of your hypotenuse here is c, c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. And then also, we make use of SOHCAHTOA, which again you should know, but I'm just going to write down here for the sake of emphasis, that sine theta is the opposite of hypotenuse, cos theta is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and that tan theta is the opposite over adjacent. So you will use this. Then also remember that JAMB doesn't expect you to come to the hall with a calculator or a four-figure table. And as a result, they expect you to actually memorize your special angles. So when dealing with this, they like to give you the angles as either 30, 45, or 60. Now, looking at your past questions, it's possible you see some older questions in which the angles were none of those. That's fine. You can use your calculator at home to help you get those. But please note that standard JAMB of today, they would always give you your angle in terms of either 30, 45, or 60, because they know you have no other way of obtaining the actual or the correct value of the sine or cos or tan of any other but the special angles. The sine, cos, and tan of this are meant to be memorized by all students. And I assume you would have learned that in the video under trigonometry. If you haven't, please go back and watch that video. So there's no special formula. There's no formula unique or special to angle of elevation and depression. So without much ado, can actually look at some questions and check out the practical way of solving these questions. So I'm just going to open my phone here and get my O3 Schools JAMB app so we can get started. My first question is from the year 2002, and this was question 44. Now it says, a hunter 1.6 meters tall. By the way, I much prefer you read the question through once, then on your second read through, and actually begin to solve. That way, you don't make a faulty assumption in the beginning. Like right, I want to read out everything first of all. A hunter 1.6 meters tall views a bird on top of a tree at an angle of 45 degrees. If the distance between the hunter and the tree is 10.4 meters, find the height of the tree. So let's see. A hunter is 1.6 meters tall. This line represents my hunter, 1.6 meters. And so, if this is his head, he should have been looking straight. But he views a bird on top of a tree. That must mean elevation. The bird is up at an angle of 45 degrees, implying that from here, he turned his head 45 degrees. Okay, next, if the distance between the hunter and the tree is 10.4 meters, so this is his leg on the ground, the distance from him to the tree is 10.4 meters. That must mean that the tree is going to be, make it a bit smaller. Tree is going to be somewhere there. So of course, if I continue this here is 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. Okay, we have been asked to then find the height of the tree. Finding the height of the tree is quite simple. Now, if here is 10.4, here must also be 10.4 meters because this is a rectangle. And in the same manner, if here is 1.6, here must also be 1.6 meters. That means what I truly have to find, I didn't know the height from here to here. I just need to find the height from here to here. Whatever I get as that height would enable me to actually get my total height, this plus this. Now, how do I obtain this? Now, my angle is here, 45 degrees. This is opposite my angle, and this is my adjacent. So the trigonometric ratio, which makes use of opposite and adjacent, is tan theta equals to opposite over adjacent. Well then, tan, the angle is 45 degrees, equals to the opposite, h, which I do not know, over adjacent, 10.4. So if I cross multiply, h equals to 10.4 tan 45. And what is tan 45? Tan 45 is 1. It's a special angle, we should know that. So 10 times 1. Oh, that is 10.4, sorry. So 10.4 times 1 is 10.4 meters. But again, recall that that is not the height of the tree. This way could easily make a mistake. That is even in my options, but that's not the answer. What I should know is that my tree starts from here to the ground, not from here to the hunter's head. Therefore, my tree will be 10.4 meters plus 1.6, which gives me 12 meters. And that is option A. So I hope we get the idea. These are the simple ways that you could easily miss the question. That's why I prefer make a good read through of the question before you start solving. Otherwise, you might simply get an answer, find that is in the options, and quickly shade it, not realizing that you are not yet done. Okay, next up, question 2. A man 1.7 meters tall, a man who is 1.7 meters tall, let's draw this as the man, observes a bird on top of a tree at an angle of 30 degrees. Now, pretty much the same as before, just that in this case, my angle is now 30 degrees. If the distance between the man's head and the bird is 25 meters, now here's where you have to be careful. This is the top of my tree here. Now, they did not tell us the distance from the man to the tree. No. So the distance from the man's head, which is here, to the bird, which is here, is 25 meters. So it is this line that they gave me the distance for, not here to here. So if that is 25 meters, I'm being asked to find the height of the tree. Again, I want to find this height. And just like before, if here is 1.7, then here must also be 1.7. I want to then find this height so I can add them together just like before. However, what's my difference is that in this case, I want to find opposite. I don't know adjacent, but instead I know the hypotenuse. So what equation joins opposite and hypotenuse? You should know that sine theta equals to opposite over hypotenuse. Well, do I have my opposite? No, that's what I want. But my angle is 30 degrees. Opposite is h, and hypotenuse is 25. So we cross multiply. H equals to 25 sine 30. And we know that this will be 25 times 1 over 2. Sine 30 is 1 over 2. 25 times 1 is 25. 25 over 2 is 12.5 meters. And as a result, my total height must be this 12.5 plus 1.7. And if I add those together, I should be getting 14.2 meters, which is option B. So I hope we are seeing the steps and we understand how this works. Okay, next up, question 4. I want to carry down this question where it came from. This one we just solved was from the year 1999. This was from 1999, question number 19. And now we are actually going to 1998, question number 26. Okay, now let's read up this one first before we start. From the top of the vertical mast, 150 meters high, two huts on the same ground are observed. One due east and the other due west of the mast. Their angles of depression are 60 degrees and 45 degrees respectively. Find the distance between the huts. Let's try and draw. From the top of the vertical mast, 150 meters high, I have a mast 150 meters high. Two huts on the same ground level are getting observed. And we are told that one is east and one is west. So this is the vertical mast, meaning the angle is 90 degrees. Now, one of them, from here we are observing now. So let's go this way. All right, so let's say here is east and there is west. Doesn't really matter. But you can use any one. You could call it east and then call this direction west. Doesn't matter. But we are told that the one to the east has a depression of 60 degrees, which means that from here, he actually turned his head downwards by 60 and then looked before he saw the hut. While from here, to the west, depression was 45 degrees. He turned his head 45 degrees and then he saw it. This is 60 degrees. This is 45 degrees. Now the question is then asking us to find the distance between the two huts. That means we want to find, if I divide this into rectangle triangles, here is x, I want to find x, and here is y. So to find total distance, it will be x plus y. Now let's see what can be done. Now this should be 90 degrees, obviously, as should this. But if here is 60, that makes here 30 degrees. And if here is 45, that makes here 45 degrees. Therefore, with these, can I solve? Yes. Let me start with the west. Here is 45 degrees. This is my adjacent as 150 meters. And this is my opposite. That means I should be using tan. Tan of the angle, which is 45, equals to opposite x over adjacent 150. So x equals to 150 tan 45. And tan 45, as you should know, is 1. So x is 150 meters. We pause that. Now let's look at the east. For my east, the angle I'm seeing here is 30 degrees. And it's the same principle. Tan 30 equals to opposite y over adjacent 150. So y equals to 150 tan 30. And what is tan 30? We should know that tan 30 is root 3 all over 3. 3 is 1. 3 into 150 is 50. So I'm getting 50 root 3. Once I get this now, remember, we're finding the distance from this hot to this hot. So that will be x plus y, which will be x 150 plus y 50 root 3. That doesn't appear to be my options, but I have some options, sorry, that will factorized. So let's see what will happen. Between 150 and 50, what do they have in common? We both have 50 in common. This will be 50, open bracket. What's remaining here? 3 plus, and move 50 from here. That's 1. We have root 3 here, meters. And that is that option B. So you see, this is very, very, very simple. So let's try a couple more. Keeping in mind, we're still using the exact same methodology. Elevation is looking from the horizontal upwards, while depression is from the horizontal downwards. Alright, this one says for question 4, from the year 2004, question 21. And it says the shadow of a pole 5 root 3 meters high. Let me have a pole. Our pole is 5 root 3 meters high, and its shadow is 5 meters. The shadow of a pole 5 root 3 meters high is 5 meters. The shadow is always lying on the ground. The shadow must be here, which is 5 meters. The question is then asking me, find the angle of elevation to the sun. If this is my shadow, if I want to look to the sun from this shadow, I must start from here and turn up this way, which means whatever angle I get here will be the angle of elevation to look at the sun, which will definitely be right there on the horizon. As a result, I know I'm looking for theta. Here is 5 with 3, here is 5. Opposites, adjacent. So tan theta equals to 5 root 3 over 5. 5 cancels 5. Tan theta equals root 3. And as a result, root 3, or more accurately, theta must be the tan inverse of root 3. Now you remember your special angles. Tan of what angle gives you root 3? You should know that that must be 60 degrees, which is option A. So you see, my emphasis remains. These questions are all truly simple. Once you draw the right shape, it simply goes back to SOHCAHTOA, which we should know already. Okay, now for our second to last question, number 5 right here. From the year 2009, question 35. A cliff on the bank of a river is 300 meters high. If the angle of depression of a point on the opposite side of the river is 50 degrees, find the width of the river. A cliff, let's draw the cliff here. This is my cliff. Cliff is a, vertical protrusion, is 300 meters high. Now, if the angle of depression, because I'm at the top of this cliff now, I want to look down at something the other way. So if the angle of depression is 60 degrees, and if I have to look down 60 degrees from this cliff, and then I saw something on the opposite side of the river, which is this way. This was where I was on the river. This is the other side, which means in between me is the river. I'm being asked to find the width of this river, which is this place here. Now, how do I solve? I need to know the angle within the triangle, not the one outside. And I know that if here is 60, since everything should be 90, inside must be 30 degrees. See, these are very, very simple. This is a simple topic. So That means that 30 opposite and adjacent, tan 30 equals to opposite x over adjacent 300. So x equals 300 tan 30. And what is tan 30? You should know that tan 30 is root 3 over 3. 3a1, 3a1. And that is 100 root 3 meters, which is option C. So I hope we are getting the zero elevation and depression, the simple topic. Read your question, understand the story you are being told, draw the right diagram, and you are pretty much done. So we have one last question, this time from 2021, model 2, question 35. Let's see what happens here. Two boys are 12 meters apart on the same side of a fence. Let's say I have a fence here, and I know that the two boys are on the same side, so they are both on my right in my diagram. Now, if they both view the top of the fence at angle of elevation of 60 degrees and 30 degrees, 30 degrees and 60 degrees respectively. Let's see. This is my fence. Let's say the two boys are down here. Now, one person is here. Here's a question. If I'm very close to an object and I have to look up at it, would I have to turn my head more or less than somebody who is far? Please note, if you are very close to it, to get to look at the top, you have to turn your head more. You have to look way higher than somebody who is far. And like if I draw this point here on the board, while very close, if I want to look at it, I have to turn my head straight up. You can see I'm turning my head a very large angle. But if I'm this far, I hardly have to turn my head. Just kind of incline my eyes a little bit and I see it. So please note, the person closer to the fence, we have a higher angle of elevation. While the one farther, we have the lower angle of elevation, which means that this first boy who is closer to the fence, to look up at it here, must turn his head a big angle. While one here, to look up at this same fence, will end up turning his head just a smaller angle. Which means since my two angles are 60 and 30, this one should be the one turning 60 degrees, and this one should be turning 30 degrees. And I'm to be told that they are 12 meters apart, which means from here to here is 12 meters. I'm being asked to find the height of the fence. And this one is truly interesting because we'll be like, okay, what can we do? Please note, I have two triangles in one. I could bring them out. So this small triangle comes here. Here is the height. Here is 60 degrees. While the other triangle, here is 30 degrees. Here is the height. Now, if I call this distance x, which is from here to here, then this overall distance becomes x plus 12. So we ask ourselves, we want to find the height of this fence. What can we do to get it? What do we know? Let's see. What can we find out really? Look at the question very clearly. Normally, to use SOHCAHTOA, I have to know one angle and one side. But in this question, I don't seem to know any side completely. No. Here is partially known. Here is partially known. So let's try solving either way. I'm having just h and x involved in my question. So for this first triangle, let me number them. This is 1, this is 2. I can say for 1, I'm going to have opposites adjacent. So tan 60 equals to opposite h over adjacent x. Cross multiply, h equals to x tan 60. And you should know that tan 60 is root 3. So h equals to root 3x. Now I cannot do anything more than this because these two are two variables. So I can call this equation 1. Then I go to my second triangle, which is this. And again, now my angle is 30. Height remains h, but the distance is x plus 12, meaning that tan 30 equals to opposite h over adjacent x plus 12. And h equals to x plus 12 times tan 30. And I know that if I open my bracket, or let's find tan 30 first, tan 30 equals root 3 over 3. So what can I do? Well, while this should be my equation 2, if I take a careful look at these, I realize something. H equals to root 3x, and h also equals this. How is that possible? It's kind of like saying a bottle of Fanta equals 250 and a bottle of Coke equals 250. Or more accurately, h equals root 3x. 250 equals to a bottle of Fanta and 250 equals to a bottle of Coke. Now, if both of them cost 250, does that not mean that if we simply exchange them, nobody loses anything? They are both equivalent, implying that if both of these are equal to h, then they are also equal to each other, implying that root 3x equals to x plus 12 root 3 over 3. It is truly that simple. So that from this place, if I cross multiply, because I'm having 3 here, this 3 will come this way, giving me 3 root 3 x equals to, let's open this bracket, x times root 3 is root 3x plus root 3 times 12 is 12 root 3. Now everything seems to have root 3, right? So let's just get rid of it. Root 3 cancels root 3 cancels root 3. Let me just finish this up here. And as a result, 3x equals to x plus 12. Collect like terms. 3x minus x equals 12. 2x equals 6 over 2 over 2. And x equals 3. Now let's check the options for something funny. Good. 3 is not there. And 3 ought not to be there because 3 is not truly your answer. What you want to find is h, not root 3. That means all you should remember is that h equals to root 3x. And since x is 3, that is 3 root 3. But I think I just spotted a small error in my calculations. I am very, very sorry. If you look over here, I think I got a little bit ahead of myself. I changed my 12 into 6 for no reason. Because here should have been 3x minus x. 2x equals 12. I wrote 6 here previously. I apologize for the error. So over 2 and over 2, x equals to 6 actually. So x is 6. So using this value of x, I should now go here and find out that h would be equal to root 3 times x, but x is 6. Now I could have left this in short form, but if I check my options, none of my options are in short form, meaning they want me to use calculator to get my final answer. So I can do that very easily. Your JAMB calculator has square roots, so there's no issue with that. The square root of 3 is 1.732. And when you multiply this by 6, you get 10.39. But all our options are in one decimal place. If we approximate as such, 39 becomes 4. So that is 10.4 meters, which is option A. I hope this was not confusing. We had two triangles, a smaller one inside a bigger one. So we solved them both separately. And because I had these equations looking identical with h equals to and h equals to, we equated both of them and found x. And then using my value for x, I was then able to find h. And that is all we are going to do under angles of elevation and depression. It is truly one of the easier topics in mathematics. And as such, it is time for your assignments, questions for you to try your hands on at home. So you can try and solve this. And when you do, please remember you can comment your answers beneath this video. And if you are correct, we shall definitely indicate so. And if you are wrong, we shall let you know as well. And also try to give you steps or guidelines to ensure you get the correct answer. Okay, this is question 18. Then one more from 2020, model 2, question number 30. So to get your three schools JAMB app, so you can actually get access to these questions and try to solve them and to comment the answers, and we shall get back to you. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel to watch more videos teaching you various topics across the different subjects you'll be required in your JAMB. And also get your three schools JAMB app and activate it. My name is Athanasius. Thank you again.